Well, welcome to April. The Kings win a game. They beat Toronto 123 to 115. Grant Napier, Jerry Reynolds. Ryan is at the Stockton Kings games. How about Precious Achiuwa, Jerry? He looked like freaking an all-star on the floor tonight.
Really did. I mean, obviously, it's kind of ironic, former Raptors really put it on him. But Precious Achiuwa, and we've talked about him all year. I mean, to me, he's just a guy they've got to resign. I mean, he's made himself a lot of money this year, and
Yes,
and
he has.
he's when given extended minutes, he's had some amazing games,
Yeah.
complete games, and yeah, he was the difference maker. I mean, really tonight, I mean, he was the best player on the floor, and and that says something. I mean, Toronto's obviously got a pretty good team there,
Yep.
but Achua, which Achua really is a guy that you got to find a way to play him, I think.
Well, you really do. And you needed him tonight because, it was a game in which Max Reynaud was quiet, right?
Right.
Normally we talking about doubles for him, but he was quiet in this game. But that was fine because you had Achiuwa that was dominating the contest.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, that's one thing about Max. I mean, he's been so consistent, but he got in early foul trouble and all that. And that is one of the real advantages of Achua. He's a guy that's a 4-5. I mean, he's a small ball five, but against a lot of centers, he can play in
Yeah.
there very effectively, which of course he did tonight. And like I say, when you look at King's roster with whether it's Hunter or Keegan Murray, the forwards, they're really not centers. And I mean, they can't guard fives at all, or they can, or Keegan can, but Achua much better there. So depending on the draft, boy, I just think that's a great pickup by Scott Perry, and it maybe the next to Ray Reynaud, the best thing they've done all year.
Yeah, no question about that. Indiana won, so the Kings, they also win. It looks to me like, and again, Indiana plays Brooklyn and Washington plays Brooklyn. So, like, not all of these teams are going to win because they're playing head to head. So, there are going to be some losses there. But it kind of looks like the Kings are not going to have the worst record or the second worst record now. It kind of looks like they're going to be 3 or 4. But you know what? Listen, we've talked about this being such a mess anyway with the lottery. Just go out and play and let the chips fall where they may. And that's pretty much where we're at right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, the only thing scares me is I really do think they could win enough to pass Utah.
Yeah.
And that really changes the numbers and the odds to a very negative difference. And so, and Danny Ainge.
Oh boy.
I think if they are even worried about losing the pick unless they finish low. So yeah, that I'm very concerned. I think the Kings should be too, because I mean, if they certainly can come home and beat the Pelicans and the way they're playing. Some nights they could win a couple more games, and if they do, and Utah doesn't win anymore, they're fifth.
Boy, what a brutal travel night. A game that doesn't even start in Toronto until 8:00 local time. And you know how hard it is to get to the airport and go through customs. That is going to be one late, early morning arrival tonight.
Well, that's the other thing too. It's like the Pelicans certainly aren't a good team, but coming home from a long road trip, and especially that road trip.
Yeah.
I mean, it just has the trap game written all over it, really.
Yeah. What else stuck out to you about the game tonight? I'll tell you what struck out to me. There weren't any lulls in this game, really. I was 4 quarters of consistent basketball. We don't talk about that very much.
Yeah, really, I agree. I was very, fun game, interesting game to watch. I mean, started slow offensively for both teams, but the thing did strike me just from Toronto's point of view. I really like a lot of things they've done as they've rebuilt their team. But you lose Siakam and OC Anunoby, which they chose to do, and they're back to about the same place they were. But get your thoughts on this. Scottie Barnes is a heck of a player.
Yes,
but
he
my
is.
mind is he needs to be your second best. They need, if they're going to make any noise in the East, he just doesn't shoot it well enough. I think he needs to. I mean, it's easy to say, hard to do, but they've got to find somebody that's really more gifted than he is if they want to be in the upper echelon of in top four, let's say in the East. I don't think they can do it with the talent base they have.
You get back to Achiuwa for me after now watching him play, what, 60 games or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
What is it about his game that really translates to what's going on now? And I'm just wondering, why do you think he's having a breakout campaign? You think it's just experience, right place? But what is it about him that you really like the most?
Well, I will say this. I do think that he's one of those guys, if you kind of watched him through the years, he's gotten a little better every year. Now, it's always, it's a little bit surprising. He got caught up in numbers games and things like a lot of young players do. And not that he was maybe totally ready as a late first round pick to do what teams wanted him to do. But I think, when you look at him, I mean, he's very athletic. He's very physical. He's physical among physical guys. He doesn't go backwards.
Yeah.
And very effective around the rim, whether driving the ball to the basket or the short shots. But even more importantly, he's not a great free throw or 3-point shooter, but he's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of like Reno. You can sort of see another year or so where that might be a strength. And then defensively, he's legit. He's legit on defense on a team that really doesn't have many legit defenders.
Yeah, that's very well said. The Kings, we talk about consistency, 27 points, 34, 29, 33. I mean, those are all good numbers for the 4 quarters. That's very good.
Yeah, very good. And, you're getting good mileage out of guys like Plowden. I mean, he seems to do it every night as well. He's one of those guys that I don't know what the Kings do with him, but he belongs in the league.
Yeah.
Whether here or somewhere, because he can make threes and he tries to guard you. He's an older, established player that isn't scared to play.
Another reason why the Kings won the game, they were 27 of 29 from the line. DeMar getting there, I think, 12 times and making them all. But, listen, if you shoot a high percentage from the line like that, you should be in the game.
Yeah, and I thought they did a pretty good job taking care of the ball. I thought, the Raptors really did put good pressure on him.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they really did. And the Kings, they made some sloppy plays. But overall, considering the pressure, and especially down the stretch, they were pretty darn good.
Nick Clifford, kind of quiet, yes?
Yeah. He kind of played a Nick Clifford game, didn't you think? Kind of did a few things, never does quite as much as I guess I'd like to see him do.
Yeah.
But you can see a player there. I think it's like what we talked about before. You'd like to see a guy you could envision as a 4th or 5th guy on a real good team, but I don't think you can do that. From what we've seen, he looks like a guy that, if you really wanted to have a 50-plus win team right now, he hadn't shown any more than 8th, 9th man kind of guy, I think.
I would agree with that. We always talk about off seasons. He had a good off season last year, but now what would you like to see him do? We're talking about with only 5 games left. So let's talk about the off season. Like if you were giving Nick Clifford some advice this off season, what are the things that you would tell him?
Well, I think he really has got to become more of a knockdown shooter. He's a wing. He can get those shots. He really needs to get better at it. Obviously, I think there's real potential for him defensively, but he fouls too much.
Yeah.
Just, stay in front of your man. Don't reach and grab, get those silly fouls. That'd be a step. And I think it's not even his fault. At some point, the team has got to figure out where he's best. You see him in all different kind of circumstances. I think he's a 2 guard. Basically, and probably a backup too. He can handle a little bit, but I think in the NBA, if you are counting on Nick Clifford to really run your team, it's going to be tough to win consistently.
Yeah. We look at the standings right now, and with the win, Sacramento goes to 20-57. So you look at their record. Washington, put these glasses on now that I'm getting to be near Jerry's age, 59. Yeah. 59 losses for Washington, 58 for Brooklyn, and 58 for Indiana. So keep that in mind. But you also have to keep in mind the schedule, all right? And that the Washington, Brooklyn, and Indiana all have games against one another, meaning that they all can't, lose. Somebody has to win unless they implemented a new rule in the NBA that said ties are allowed. So, like, if you take a look at the schedule of the Washington Wizards, all right, 2 games from now, they have a game against Brooklyn. So one of those 2 teams is going to lose, all right? And then you look at Brooklyn's schedule and what they have coming up. And again, every game is so important right now when you look at draft lottery positioning, all right? You take a look at the full schedule as I'm bringing that up right now for the Brooklyn Nets. And again, they split their season series with the Kings, but Brooklyn has a game against Washington and they have a game against Indiana, all right? So their Washington game, as we just said, is coming up in 2 games, and then they play Milwaukee. They also play Indiana. So when you look at Brooklyn, they have Washington and they have Indiana, right? There's still going to be a lot of movement in the standings, Jerry, just because of the head-to-head competition.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the thing I'm more concerned about, though, is the Kings schedule and Utah's schedule.
Yeah.
Because really, I don't think there's any way. You got to stay in that bottom 4.
Yeah.
And right now, I mean, the Kings are on the edge of that. They're the ones in danger, probably of getting, because Utah's at 21, and I just don't think they're going to win again.
Yeah. Well, here's their schedule. They have Denver going on now, at Houston, at Oklahoma City, at New Orleans, Memphis at home, and at the Lakers. So, I'm with you on that.
Other than Memphis at home, that's their only shot.
Unless the Lakers have nothing to play for in the final game and they sit everybody down.
Yeah, great point.
And by the way, Utah is losing right now 97-88 with 30 seconds left to go to Denver. So if you try to project what that's going to mean, I mean, let's just call it the way it is. I can't imagine the Jazz coming from behind to beat the Denver Nuggets tonight. So let's just, as we sit here and talk, give them a loss. They would have 1 more win than Sacramento and 1 less loss. So they'd be 21-56. The Kings are 20 now and 57. So you're only separated by a game right there.
Yeah, that's the scary one. That's worries me. I mean, like you said, these other teams, they're behind the Kings, and they're going to win games. But they can't get to 21 like Utah. The Kings can. The Kings could do that.
It's a great point. Indiana has 18 wins. Brooklyn has 18. Washington has 17. So keep that in mind. It looks like there's no way it looks like that Washington's going to fall behind Sacramento right now. And it looks unlikely that both Brooklyn and Indiana. So 2 of those 3 teams will, and then you're right, Utah is the one that I'm with you. I'm with you. I don't think they win another game.
Yeah, and the Kings schedule, they're at home a good bit. So with the Pelicans, and they've got some winnable games. Yeah, and they're actually playing pretty well.
Well, it's frustrating because fans really are hoping the Kings would have lost this game tonight. But the players, we always talk about this. Jerry, you coach, the players don't even talk about this stuff amongst themselves. They really don't. They don't care. They just go out and play. They're playing for themselves. They're competitors. They're playing to win. The players that are on the court don't give a damn about the draft.
No. And it's almost the opposite. They look at it, because why would the guys that are under contract on the team, in some cases, it's like, well, why do I want to help them get a guy to take my job?
Yeah.
But for most, they're playing their competitors and they want to play well regardless. And that's what you see. And then plus guys, it's like a Achiuwa or Plowden. I mean, they're playing for their careers, their contract next year. And so they're playing for a lot. They were playing, honestly, for more tonight than what Toronto was playing for. Toronto's locked in.
Yeah. I got you. After now watching a good sample size of Devin Carter, what do you project him to be in the NBA?
I think he's going to be a reserve. I think obviously he plays hard and competitive, but his shooting has got a long way to go. Certainly, perimeter shooting for a guard into this day and age, you got to make shots better than he does. I like the way he gets to the basket, but to me, I just look at it from term we've talked before. I mean, on a 50 plus win team, that's where you want to get to. Uh, could he be a starter? I don't see that.
Yeah.
I just think you have to be a much better shooter and handler than he currently is.
What about college and the players now that we get to the Final Four? There's a lot of talk about Boozer. What do you project him in the NBA?
Well, he's got to be a power forward, and
Yeah.
now I think his stock probably has dropped a little bit because his limited athleticism shows up a little bit, but he's highly skilled, and I think he's one of those guys that probably doesn't have the ceiling of some other players, but also probably is. If you take him, he's going to find a way to be good. I don't think there's a lot of risk with Boozer. He's too skilled, make shots. He's got good hands. He's a really good passer. In my mind, he's a power forward. And a stretch four, and But I would kind of be surprised if he goes higher than three. I don't know for sure. It's DeBonsa, I think, is a for sure number one. I think, and then after that, there's 5 or 6 guys you could probably. And as we get closer, the thing will move a little bit. I think that Acuff has moved really into the talking points, and I think, Peterson has moved down, he's still in there, but has probably dropped. Kingston Fleming, the young guard from Houston, is probably in the talking points. I think Wilson, the kid from
North
North
Carolina.
Carolina,
Yeah.
he may, he's such a spectacular athlete that depending on the combine and all that stuff, he might very well move into a little second, third, wherever.
From not even playing because he's been hurt, which is
Yeah.
interesting. Like he could
It's a little
benefit,
bit
he might have benefited in the draft by not playing.
Well, it's a little bit like years ago. If you remember, Kyrie Irving
Yeah.
didn't play hardly all year, played the last 8-10 games.
Very true.
And but he was a gifted guy. Everybody knew he was.
Yeah.
And so, and I think I'm not. They're totally different players, but I think that with Wilson's spectacular athleticism, which he really does have.
Yeah.
The league is always looking for that.
Well, I know one thing. I'm very happy I'm not on the trip tonight, flying home after that. That is the worst. Going from that is just the worst. There's no other way to say it.
Yeah, boy, you hate in the East where they have to go in there twice. If every team goes in there twice, that'd really be a pain in the butt. Although the trip wouldn't be long. I hated that. I really did. I love Toronto, a beautiful city.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, it's a great place to stay, but just the hassle of the border stuff.
Let's get to Baki. Baki will say hello to you if I can get you. Here we go. There we go. Hello, Baki. How are you?
Hey, Baki.
Hey, how are you? Very long time. No see.
Yeah, how you been?
Hey, I'm fine. Thank you. And
Good.
also, greeting to you, Grant. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, great. What can we do for you? Thanks for being on.
Very, very long time we didn't see, but a lot of stuff happening here. So, you know how turbulence is. So, it's great to see that this team is able to pull out the victory like this. So, but all the tribute for DeRozan because the guy is showing he's the championship made player. So I just want to have one question for you guys. What do you think about Reyno? It seems to me that his development should be a little bit more like aggressive on the basket because he's playing a lot of those floaters. I mean, we haven't seen those floaters back in years, old school basketball, but sometimes he's very good. But I think he should be more aggressive, like doing stuff with his hips, with the elbows, playing with the back, and then opening some players So I like him a lot, but maybe he should try to be more aggressive because rookies this year are, I will not say they don't have a respect for the other players in the NBA, but the rookies are really playing like mature players. And you can see also in March Madness, young guys are not having
All right, well,
those.
let Jerry answer that. Jerry,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that's a great point, Baki, because I think with Renault, I mean, he has got to get more physical. I think right now, for his big weakness is defensively. He just isn't able to really create any kind of real consistent problems defensively. But I do think working with the French national team will be great for him. But he's got to get more physical, certainly, as and he will have to put on weight, but he really needs a low post game. And like you say, he's got those great little flips right and left handed, but he really needs to be able to power through guys occasionally and wham on them, put one on their head. But I think next year, that's what we hope, you hope to see, that he's 10 or 15 pounds heavier and plays a lot more physical, to where, guys don't see, veteran players come in there and they know they may get bumped a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely. He's defensively, he's doing great stuff and a lot of effort from his side. But only offensively, just a little bit, and he can be a really, really very good. Let's not say great center, but maybe he's going to be great center also.
He's highly skilled, and I always say guys with, he's good hands, and that's usually a lot of big men don't have great hands, and he does. But he's got to get more physical, and he's got to get stronger, and which will help him on defense as well as offense. If just physically stronger, and he's one of those guys. To be honest, if I probably coached, I'd tell him at some point I wouldn't mind seeing you get in a fight with somebody.
Yeah,
knock somebody down. See, you'll get a little more respect if somebody sees you do that.
But I think we're gonna wait for the October, November next year, this new season. So we're gonna see that.
Yeah, it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen now, Bucky.
Bucky, good hearing from you, buddy. All right, good hearing from you, buddy. You take care. Okay,
take care.
All right, bye-bye. Yeah, defensively, where he's going to have to make his really big strides in this offseason. Offensively, I've seen what I need to see from him, where I'm not worried about that, because that's only going to get better. But he's going to have to become, I think the word is just adequate defensively. I would accept that right now. Just be average, be adequate. I'll take that for next season.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, just to get to, say, like the level of St. John in Houston.
Yeah.
He's basically average or maybe slightly below. It's good enough because he's skilled enough offensively. It works. And I think he can get there. I think he can get close to that level.
So answer this question. What's the difference between Boozer and Bagley? Both look the same to me. That's what the question was. What's the difference between Boozer and Bagley?
Well, Boozer's a lot more physical player. I'll say that. And a much better passer. Much better pass. He led the team in assists. Bagley was never a very particularly good passer. And the third thing, he's a much more established, consistent three-point shooter, which Bagley never was in college. Still really isn't. He's gotten better. But so on those areas, I mean, I think when you look at the numbers, he's better as a scorer, better as a rebounder, better as assist, and better three-point shooter.
Yeah.
So,
and really, even though it hasn't been terribly long, the game even then was somewhat different with 3-point shooting and bigs and stuff. So, don't you agree that is now the bigs have just continued to move farther and farther away from the basket?
Yeah, I mean, it really now in today's game, basically all five guys need to be a threat to shoot threes.
Yeah.
Now, years ago, you had that early on. You had to have three back in the 90s or whatever. And then it became four. Your center, one of them didn't, but now your centers even are expected to be able to stretch out and take and make threes. And
good point.
And so that's where it's different. But I think Boozer, I just don't see him failing. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, in other words, it's a great question to ask, but I don't think they play anything alike. I mean, Boozer has he can out on the court. He has some small forward skills with the ball. Like say, a terrific passer.
Very true.
He's more like Kevin Love was when he came in the league than he is like Bagley. And
Very good point.
and Kevin was awfully good for a lot of years.
Yeah. Hey, I want to tell you about Awfully Good. That's New Works Plumbing. When you have issues with water heaters, water line repair, sewer repair, water filtration, gas lines, they do it all. 916-73-1010 or newworksplumbing.com. New Works Plumbing, they have got a fix for you. And don't forget about Bennett's Prime Seafood and Steaks, whether it's Sacramento, Roseville, or the West Side Grill in Rockland. Just go to bennettsrestaurants.com and make a reservation. That's bennettsrestaurants.com. Bennett's Prime Seafood and Steaks. The Kings now with a long trip. They're not even to the airport yet. They're probably still in the arena, and it is going to be a long trip home. And then they have to get right back at it on Friday against New Orleans. So it is going to be a quick turnaround, and they should be a bunch of tired pups. That is for sure.
Well, they'll be coming back to great weather. That's one thing.
Yeah.
Time to get back here, it's going to be in the low 80s again and sunny. So they're coming back to just about perfect weather.
Yeah. Well, the players are got to be happy with that tonight. I mean, that going on the road, beating a team that's fighting for position in the playoffs in the East and playing consistently for 4 quarters. So the guys got to feel good about that.
Yeah, they should. And obviously at the end of a long road trip, it's certainly a win that wasn't expected. When you looked on the schedule, when they went out, that'd been the one game you said, well, that they definitely won't win that one.
Yeah.
And but they did, and like I say, I think the 2 former Raptors, I think obviously they came in with a little extra motivation, as often happens, and they were terrific. And really, the Raptors had no answer for Achiuwa or DeRozan.
Was that Precious's best game of his career, or have you seen him play to that level this year? We've talked about him on a few times going, wow. Is this the biggest wow of the year for him?
I think so. Yeah, I think it was. Now, the Knicks game, he also had a super game against the Knicks, and that's another team that had him.
Yeah.
And he was really instrumental in that game. I think he was 20 points, 12 rebounds, that sort of thing in that game. So it does, I think, not just the numbers, but it shows that he can do it against good teams.
Yeah.
And I always say that stats mean a little more when that happens.
Yeah, you think? Yeah. Yeah, you think? I would agree with that. So here we go. 5 games left, and I'm with you. I think that it's probably more likely than unlikely that the Jazz lose all of their games. They're losing right now 112-99 to Denver near the halfway point of the 4th. So we project them to have a loss. So, right now, here's the deal. You really can't control what Utah is going to do, or Washington or Indiana or Brooklyn. So do what you got to do. I don't really know what fans think. It's not like Doug Christie's going to tell the guys to go out and, throw the ball out of bounds and miss free throws. And the guys that are playing want to win, and fans need to understand that. And if you want to take DeMar DeRozan out of the game, that's fine. You can do that like you did against I believe it was the Atlanta Hawks or the Brooklyn Nets the other day. But the reality is you're going to have somebody playing in his spot that also is going to be fighting for a contract and looking for their basketball livelihood. So you don't know if they're going to play well, but they're going to give you 4 quarters of, balls to the wall performance. That's what they're going to do.
Absolutely. And so, and then really with DeRozan, or if you do hold him out, there needs to be a reason.
Yeah.
And you can always find it. But I mean, that's really the only thing, a front office has towards something like that, because otherwise a coach is going to play his best players and expect them to play hard. That's what you got tonight.
What you could do is right now, when he gets to the airport, go, oh my God, I lost my passport. And then he wouldn't be allowed back in the country. And, it would take probably a week to get that straightened out. And there you have it. I just fixed it, right?
Yeah, I think you did. Well, of course, knowing DeMar, he might want to stay there for a while. So
Yeah,
might
there
work
are worse
out. I don't
there are
know.
worse places to be able to stay,
Yeah,
and not have a passport. You could be all right there for a week. You could be back
yeah,
in his
yeah,
former stomping grounds. He'd probably be just fine with that.
yeah. He could probably be convinced on that one.
Yeah. Jerry, we appreciate you. Thank you very much. And we'll look
Well,
forward to talking with you these final few games of the season.
well, we'll just do it. And so, fun, really fun game tonight, and we'll just see what we see on Friday.
Yeah, Ryan's at the Stockton Kings game, so I'll get a full report card on that from him tomorrow, Jerry.
Well, good, because I know they do a good job down there with the
Yeah.
Stockton Kings. So Rhino will be right on top of it. And have a nice evening, and that's what I'm going to do.
Sounds good, Jerry. Appreciate you. Take care now. Bye-bye.
See ya.
All right. Good stuff from Jerry as we wind down the season here. Let me update you once again on that score. Indiana did win earlier. We talked about that. But the Jazz at home are down 116 to 103 with 5 minutes left. So they're going to lose that game. Again, Indiana, they won. They beat Chicago, who's just playing awful, 145 to 126. And then we talk about the Wizards losing 153 to 131. So once again, here are your updated standings, and we begin in the East, okay? You have Washington right now that is 17 and 59. Brooklyn's 18 and 58, and Indiana's 18 and 58. Sacramento now with the win is 20 and 57. Utah is 21, and they will be 56. So there's only one game separating the Kings and the Jazz in the loss column, and there are two games separating the Kings and the Wizards in the loss column, and one game separating the Kings, Brooklyn, and Indiana in the loss column. So fasten your seatbelts. We're going down to game 82. Wow. Appreciate everyone. Thank you very much. Tomorrow, Fox Sports, Sacramento, 3:00. Hope you can join me. I'm going to talk about what's going on the field in baseball from an umpire's perspective. Brian Knight, former MLB umpire, is going to join me. And Steve Sachs. The A's will be home Friday for their home opener. Steve Sachs will join me. We'll talk baseball with Sachs tomorrow as well. So Steve Sachs and Brian Knight tomorrow on Fox Sports Sacramento. Appreciate you all. Thank you very much for joining us. Light the beam. It's lit. It's been a while. Still works. Take care. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye now.